Let's bring in the author of the brand new book, The Puppeteers, the people who control America. Former House Oversight Committee Chairman Jason Chaffetz. Jason, it's always great to have you on. I want to put this, congrats on the book, by the way. I want to play this because this is some of the liberal media talking about why they don't want to carry Donald Trump. Watch.
We do not intend to carry these remarks live. As we have said before in these circumstances, there is a cost to us as a news organization to knowingly broadcast untrue things.
I don't need to see any more of that. He's trying to turn this in. He's trying to turn it into a spectacle, into a campaign ad.
And Tapper later went on to say that he's dangerous. We're not going to tune into him because he's dangerous. It's all they talk about on CNN and MSNBC, Jason, is Donald Trump, and they don't want to show him because he's dangerous.
Well, he is ratings gold for these people, but it is ironic. Only as Rachel Maddow can spew, she says, we're not going to air it because he's going to say something untrue. How does she know that? Is she clairvoyant? It's not as if Donald Trump reads the teleprompter. How do you know what he's going to say is untrue? They just don't like him. They don't like him because he's successful, because he's a threat to their agenda, and because he speaks off the cuff. But that's the same reason that America actually does love Donald Trump and why he's lapping people in the campaigns at this point.
Yeah, it just makes me laugh when they say, oh, no, we're going to put him on for a town hall, but we are not going to carry him live because he's dangerous in what he says. Really? Here's the Quinnipiac poll. And this, by the way, was taken just a couple of days ago, so it's kind of important. And it's very instructive because it really hasn't budged. I mean, Kevin talked about this earlier. You see Donald Trump at 53%, Ron DeSantis at 23%. The rest of it kind of falls in line. Are you surprised that even with all the legal issues that the former president still maintains this huge lead, Jason?
I think it's sort of the American way. I think Americans feel like when somebody's being picked on unfairly, they rally behind them. Whether it's some young kid at a baseball game or at school, or whether it's a guy running for the president of the United States. I don't think that they feel that he's been treated fairly, and that I think Republicans and conservatives in particular have a deep distrust of what the government has been doing because of the unequal application of justice. And that's the impetus to get behind Donald Trump.
And I'm wondering if that might be the plan. Is it the plan to make sure that he wins the GOP primary?
Perhaps, but they do that at their own peril. I don't know. Sometimes they don't know the left from the right. They don't know what they're doing. There is still a lot of runway before the election and the debate. I think this debate coming up in August with Fox News, that's going to be one to watch. That's for sure.
It's going to be a barn burner. That's for sure. I want to put this up. Michael Goodwin writes this in the New York Post, quoting here, millions losing faith in our system over Trump-Biden divide. Can't vote our way out of this injustice going on. Ultimately, the notion that elections and exercising your voting rights will not correct a mistaken course is a disturbing and depressing idea. But unless the nation sees Biden being held to the same standards by the same prosecutors and courts, the great divide will grow deeper and wider and more dangerous. Your final thoughts on that Michael Goodwin quote?
Yeah, it's not just about Biden. It's about Clintons. It's about all things Democrats and the way they they prosecute people in New York. And so it's bigger and broader. It's a consistent pattern that we've seen play out over the last decade. Donald Trump personifies that right now here today. But it's not the first time we've been to this rodeo, Trace, and people are getting tired of it, and the distrust is at record levels.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you hear it everywhere you go. The book is called The Puppeteers, the people who control America. Jason Chaffetz, always great to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, Trace. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.